2014 AP Calculus AB free response question number 2. Part A, find the volume of the solid generated when r is rotated about the horizontal line y equals -2. So first you start the equation with pi, and then you find the lower and upper bounds of the equation. So when f of x equals 4, x equals 0, and x equals 2.3, so 0 becomes the lower bound and 2.3 becomes the upper bound. And so then for the larger radius you do -2 minus the f of x that's larger, which is 4, and you square it. And then you subtract the smaller radius, which is -2, minus the equation f of x, which is x to the fourth minus 2.3x to the cube plus 4. And then you square this term, and then you get the final answer, which is the volume, which is 98.868 cubic units.
Okay.
To solve part A on your calculator, you start by finding intersection points, which you could find with calculate intersection of f of x and f of 4, or y equals 4. And the first intersection point is 0, or very close to it. And the second intersection point is 2.3. So then you start by redoing the equation from up here. You start with pi. Now you plug it into the equation from right here, which you start with pi. Then you go to Math 9 for a definite integral. And then you go from 0, which is the lower bound, to 2.3, which is the upper bound. And then you start with the larger radius, which would be -2 minus 4. And then that term is squared.
Go ahead.
Then you subtract the smaller radius, which would be -2 minus f of x, or y sub 1 in this case. And then you square the second term. And then you evaluate it at d of x. And you get the answer, 98.868. Part B, region R is the base of a solid. For this solid, each cross-section perpendicular to the x-axis is an isosceles right triangle with a leg in R. Find the volume of the solid. So the first thing you do is you plug it into this equation, which would be 1/2 times the larger radius minus the smaller radius squared, dx. And you use it from the lower bound and the upper bound that we found in part A, which are 0 and 2.3. So you do 1/2 of 4 minus f of x squared dx. To find the answer on your calculator, you start with 1/2, and then you go to Math 9, and the upper bound that we found in the first equation is 0, and the upper bound is 2.3. And then you do the larger radius, which is 4, minus the smaller radius, which is f of x, or in this case, y sub 1. And then you square this term, and then you evaluate it at x, and you should get the answer 3.574 cubic units. The vertical line x equals k divides R into two regions with equal areas. Write but do not solve an equation involving integral expressions whose solutions give the value k. So you use the upper bound and the lower bound, and then you divide them in two by going from 0 to k of 4 minus f of x dx equals k to 2.3 of 4 minus f of x dx. That's good.